I
I'm
have
not.
hit live, and hopefully
Okay.
we are live. Before
Okay.
we start diving into things, first of all, can you see me? Can you see Rose? Can you
I
see
have.
the puzzle? And can you hear us?
Yeah. Yes.
Please let me know. Oh dear, what have people been talking about? I've missed a bunch of chat.
I'm waiting. Oh, well, I'm right now. I'm seeing the ad. So, oh, there we
Oh,
go. Okay.
we've got okay, so Cara and Clark are here, Suze is here, Philip is here. Philip is Oogie Man.
Mhm.
Um, we've got I'm going backwards. Uh, Julia's here. That's Tiara Moose. Concerning Blue is here. Sue is here. Nance is here. Of course, your heroes. We've also got Thomas and Dexter. So they're the names I can see. I can't look at the chat on my iPad.
Mhm.
But if I've missed anyone, I do apologise. And hello to you all.
Did
Hello,
you say hi to
Slitherpuff.
Clark? Oh, Slitherpuff's here.
I did say hi to Clark, yeah. I'm just all looks and sounds good. All good. Well, that's positive. Hello,
Yeah.
Karen. I can see and hear you just fine. I cannot see and hear quite as well. Um, Hi everyone. Oh, hi Matt. Matt's Oh My
Yeah.
Trash.
Oh, I'm not as audible.
Can't see and hear Rose quite as well. So I've got you on max volume, Rose.
Okay.
So I don't. Are you able to turn your mic up or
I'm
anything, or is it on the
currently
max?
using let I could change to the AirPods and see if that improves. Let's see if that makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh no. Oh, you're back. You
Oh,
disappeared there for a second. You're back.
am I back?
Yes, I can see you now.
Am I actually I don't it doesn't sound like it's coming through my AirPods. I don't think it is.
Um,
Hold on. I'm gonna change a setting on my phone. I'm gonna pop away and come.
I'll keep nattering away, and uh, and we'll wait for you, Rose. Who else have we got joining? We have got Rose sounds slightly muffled. Hmm. Both volumes are okay. Rose is a bit blurry. So I don't have a great deal of control over Rose's side of things here. I've got her volumes on max on my software. So I don't think there's much else I can really do, but we'll see if she can sort it out. Problem with Rose is not volume. Hello.
Oh, I can hear it as well. I
I can
I
see you
tried to
again.
use my okay. Yeah, I tried to use my AirPods and then I made the discovery that they oh no, they are. I hate how AirPods sometimes are like I'm not charged, and then you plug it in for a second and it's like oh I am charged. Just kidding. All right, let me try this one more time.
Makes a difference. You there?
I can hear you
Oh,
fine
okay.
still.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, did that improve my volume for everybody else? Hopefully, now that I have the
Um,
AirPods in. Because Vicky, you're louder to me, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
yeah, because it's right in your ear, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
people can
waiting
hear
forever.
you. Some people can seem
Okay.
to be able to hear you fine. It seems to be more a sort of clarity thing. Somebody said you sounded muffled, so I don't
Hmm.
know. Maybe it'll be clear. Oh, that's
Better.
better.
Oh, Thomas said I'm better. Great.
Yay! Volume's good. Video is not
Okay.
synced with it. We may just have to sounding great after earpod in. Right. Okay.
Okay.
So it sounds better. I don't know about the video sync. That might just be something we have
Yeah.
to just cope with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything I'm going to be showing this time because, as you all see, I am not in front of my massive puzzle wall. Instead, I have taken over my husband's office because he's home with the kids, and this is like the quietest space that I could be as far separated from them as possible. So, kind of got booted out of my puzzle space. Couldn't be in my own studio, but so I'm not going to be holding up things and showing them to you today. So I hope me being blurry, I mean, it's not as big of a deal since I don't have anything exciting to show you except my lovely smile.
Of course, and that's lovely, even when it's blurry. We've
Thank
also got the
you.
puzzle, obviously. You can
Yes.
watch me put together this gorgeous puzzle. So,
Yeah, that's
okay,
really the star.
now we've got everything technical sorted. Let's
Mhm.
say welcome and hello, Rose. Thank you for coming back and chatting to
Oh,
us all. I've been
thank you
really
so
looking
much for
forward to
having me.
this.
Me too. Me too.
So hopefully my plan is to finish it, or at least section A. I've been working on section A, as you know, and I've
Yeah.
finished the yellow and the green portals. So this one in front of me is this is all I've got to do. The gaps you see is all I've got to
Yeah.
fill in. So yeah, the plan is to finish it, and then what normally happens when I finish a puzzle or a section of a big puzzle, I will then I will then end the live stream and I'll restart a new one just like on my phone and
Mhm.
after having cleared the table and put the whole thing together so that you can see the whole thing together. If you can't see it together under the camera, unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's not big enough. So that's what normally happens. So all being well, it will go to plan and I will manage to
Yeah.
get it finished. But we shall see. Maybe
Yeah.
this tree will be my nemesis. I don't know.
I know there's it's a lot of orange, a lot of yellow. I don't know how great I did separating the textures on that. What, but oh, you also have the little, no, that's a lot of leaves. I don't know. I don't know, Vicky, if you're gonna actually finish it. Maybe it's a little more
Well,
challenging.
if I show you the pieces I've got, it might
Yeah.
change your mind. I don't know. So I've basically I've got three trays where they're sort of categorized,
Mhm.
but not very clearly. So this is sort of mostly brown pieces. So that's mostly going to be um like this bit of the trunk and some of this
Mhm.
bit, the branches and stuff. So that's that. Then I've got this tray which is like where there's quite a lot of sky in the background.
Oh,
So
that should be easy.
my best guess will is that it'll go around these edges. They'll go there. And then this
Mhm.
tray, it's supposed to be this tree here,
Mhm.
these pieces, and then these pieces have got like really bright yellow in, um,
Mhm.
which I mean there is yellow, but like there's just some spots where it's really bright. So I
Mhm.
do have some organization. I'm hoping I can get those pieces in. The rest of the pieces are here,
Mhm.
and they're in piles by shape. So once I've got rid of a bunch of those, I can just sort by shape, lay them out, and hopefully just finish it off that way.
Mhm.
So I'm organized. So we'll see. We'll see. Time will
Mhm.
tell.
Yeah.
But I've been loving it. I've been absolutely loving it, and I find it really difficult stopping each week.
That's awesome to
Seriously,
hear. I feel
seriously.
like that sentiment is something I have heard from many puzzlers across the world at this point.
Yeah,
I feel like I actually like I put I mean I could sit here and be like, oh, I'm glad I did a good job. But I mean I really it was a very careful, calculated puzzle drawing purpose. And when I created it, I knew it was going to be a 7,000 piece. So everything I did. I was thinking about the puzzler every step of the way to make sure every portion had a nice amount of detail, and that detail was different and contrasting in color and shape and texture. So I'm very glad to hear that I accomplished my goal of creating a puzzle that would be addictive and fun, even though it's a huge challenge. It really is.
yeah. But I feel like people that don't do large piece counts. are doing this. You know, like they're
Yeah.
just like, I just love this so much. I'm going to do it, and they're loving it too. You know, which is great. I mean, for me personally, it's like my mission to get people doing large piece counts.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. But yeah, no, definitely, I do find it hard, and it's funny because one of the streams, I'd laid out all the pieces. I shape sorted all these pieces, these framework pieces, and I put a photo in the Discord server, and I think it was Thomas said, "I don't know how you resist putting them in after you've stopped." And I'm like, well, who says I don't? I may well have put in 2 or 3 or 4 when I
Yeah.
stop live streaming, but I
It's
do have
okay.
to stop myself.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
all right. Well, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start puzzling. And I'm
Mhm.
going to let um, my lovely audience fire away. And if you're happy with that, Rose,
Mhm.
you can
Oh,
chat
fine.
away.
I'm happy to answer any question. And I see Burgess North, you just commented that people are even speed running this puzzle, which surprises me and delights me because I didn't expect that actually I didn't know what to expect because this prior to this, my largest piece count that I had actively designed for was like more like in the 2000, 3000 range. Tropical Dragons, I know, came out at the 4000 piece, which I had made it that large, but I didn't actually think that we were going to have the larger printing on that. So that happened. But I've never had a piece count this high, so I didn't know how the audience of puzzlers was going to react. And I feel like there's a strange sort of I feel like I've had some people tell me that like this is a viral puzzle, this is like a super popular, but like, and I didn't expect that at all. I mean, I didn't know you could have a puzzle that had that much um, buzz surrounding it. Like, it's been quite surprising in a great way, in a wonderful way. So,
Yeah, I would describe it as a viral puzzle. I think it
yeah,
was Victor that said that.
yeah,
Victor's the guy that speed ran it.
yeah,
He's one of the fastest puzzlers in the world, Victor. And
yeah,
yeah, I saw his video come up because he's got a YouTube channel,
mhm,
and it said I did this viral puzzle, and I was like, yeah, actually, that's
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the word for it.
it's so heartwarming. And like, oh, I see some Clark, you just comment on the 18,000 piece. Yeah, I keep saying this. I keep saying, yeah, let's convince Ravensburger to let me do an 18,000. I don't, if they said yes, I'm like, oh no, that would be like a year of my life if I had to create an 18,000 piece. And I do it. There is no way I would say no, because I think that would be an awesome honor to create an art piece like that huge. Actually, does anyone know offhand, an 18,000 piece, how many feet is that usually for a Ravensburger? I feel like that'd be at least 12, 13 feet, isn't it? I have no idea. I haven't looked this up. I really should have looked it up before I started saying I wanted to do an 18,000 piece. Does
Right, it
anyone know?
is. I can tell you, I've got an 18K Ravensburger here, and it tells me
Uh-huh.
in inches rather than feet. But it says
Uh-huh.
108.5 by 75.5 inches.
Yeah.
So whatever that is in feet.
So that's what, 7 feet by 9 feet ish? It's big. It's
It is
big.
big. Yeah.
I'd have to
I'm
figure
not.
out how to. So that Ravensburger 18,000, how many bags does that one come in?
The 18Ks are in 4 bags,
Okay.
roughly 4,500 piece
Okay.
bags,
Okay.
give or
That would
take.
make. So, like, when you say that to me, I think about how Ravensburger would probably have me design, because you have to design the seams and take to account how you're going to do that. And then I also have to consider, so most of my design work, as most of you know, I actually work on an iPad Pro in Procreate. Like, I start everything I do with a pencil sketch. Actually, I do have my oh my gosh, this is my beat up little sketchbook here. I got to make sure if I open to a page, I'm under a lot of non-disclosure agreements. So like, this is where I do a
Mm.
lot of my sketching in for fun. So this is where I do all my exercises. So I work in real media when I'm doing my sketches, and then I go digital and I work in an iPad on an iPad Pro in Procreate. I used to work Photoshop on a Wacom tablet.
But there's RAM limitations to that. Like there's an actual file size limit. So when I'm drawing a puzzle, for those of you who are used to doing digital painting, like when I'm doing a puzzle, there's usually only between 10 to 15 layers. Like that's all I have to work with because I need to be working on the biggest dimensions that Procreate allows. So I just kind of force myself to work in less layers and think more like a traditional painter as I'm putting things together. So I'm trying to think like if I had to design a piece that big, yeah, it would probably be 4 files, and then I'd have to figure out how to make sure the image is cohesive. And that's part of why Six Portals has the design it does. I mean, the having the very elongated, skinny portals are it's a little more unusual in puzzle design, but I did it that way for file size capabilities. So I'd be able to work
Ah.
on a nice big chunk and have them be able to fit in a logical way and still be able to do it on my iPad. Because if I wasn't mobile on my iPad and able to be where the kids are or be where the kids aren't, I wouldn't be able to work. You know, it's
Mhm.
just it comes the balancing act. All right, Clark, thank you. 9 feet by 6 feet. Okay. That actually doesn't sound as scary now that I've done like a 6 foot puzzle. I say that now.
Oh, I think it'd be awesome. I'm gonna drop some hints when I go to London next week.
Oh, please
I'm gonna
do. Please do. I love Ravensburger so much. Yes,
Yeah,
tell them.
they invited me to the London Toy Fair,
Hmm.
so oh, I can't wait. But I'm gonna meet um their puzzle developer. I'll be meeting her
Hmm.
there. So I was like,
Oh, oh, lucky
is
you.
I was like, is this the lady that decides what's going on?
Ah.
So and apparently it is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Ah.
yeah, she's the
Sounds
one to
good.
speak to.
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, but if you're dropping my name, make sure we're still saying fantasy because I love to see if I could get a lot of Centurnia imagery in there. So I prefer, but you know what? Ravensburger loves fantasy, so that wouldn't surprise
Yeah,
me if they were like, yeah, fantasy creatures. Um, okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat that I would like to jump to.
yeah, go for it.
Um, Starting with Scott Duncan. I'm doing Summer Night Circus at the moment. Is there a story behind it? Well, I am so glad you asked. So, some of my puzzles are tied to a universe called Centurnia. I am also a novel writer. I'm an indie novel writer, though my books are professionally edited by Keith R.A. De Candido. And if you're familiar with Keith's name, you're probably a huge fan of sci-fi because he has written, I think, over 120 books at this point for things like Star Trek and Firefly and Marvel. And oh my gosh,
Ooh,
I can't even like list all the stuff he's done. So not only being a prolific sci-fi author, a sci-fi fantasy author, but he's also an editor. So he edits my books. But Centurnia is the universe that a lot of my fantasy is grounded in, and it's not necessarily all of my puzzles. And I people have been asking me for a long time to put together a list. I promise this month I'm going to actually put together a list and post on my social media of which of my puzzles are Centurnia and which of my puzzles are not Centurnia. And then there's some of my puzzles that kind of fall in between. Like Six Portals has some creatures from Centurnia, like the Feltrati cats, which are the cute little cats with wings. There's airships, which are in Centurnia. There's dragons, which are in Centurnia. But the piece you're referring to, Scott, the Summer Night Circus, that is a direct reference to Centurnia. That is the Aurora Holy Circus. So basically, in this universe, you have a religion, the religion of the goddess Aurora. And the way the religion is preached is through temples as well as a traveling circus. And the circus has some amazing beasts and creatures to it that I quite enjoy drawing. And then the novel series itself is portal fantasy. So you have modern day Earth, magical portal that goes to the world of Centurnia, which leads to a castle with cat people like people and goat like people and some interesting races. And it's also the type of world where in Centurnia, um, electronics and electricity is banned, but you have stuff from Earth that sneaks across the gates to the world of Centurnia. So if you've done my magic study, then that piece, you'll see what looks like a lovely fantasy castle, but you'll see things like there's a 1980s boombox in the background. I think I also have a cassette deck if you've done Autumn Castle Festival. So there are these little tidbits, and the more you get to know my world, the more you get to know my characters. And what I have started doing is I've been doing more Centurnia art. Like when I started my career, I didn't know how the puzzle industry would react to it. I didn't know how art directors would react, so I kind of kept it on the down low. And now I'm like way more open about it, that the fact that there is this whole universe, and I think puzzlers definitely see that and respond to that, and that's absolutely wonderful because they know there's more story, especially now that we're in an age where let's face it, AI art is starting to, and I shouldn't even use the word art, AI generated graphics are starting to sneak into some puzzle brands, and it's not so much like the big ones, but it's becoming more prevalent. And the thing about AI is it randomly throws colors and blobs and shapes wherever, and it doesn't know what a puzzler likes, and it doesn't know about it's just a copy machine. But when a puzzler does one of my images, they can sense that there's a story there based on the way the characters are or the way I place things very deliberately. So Scott, I hope that answered. I gave you a novel to answer your single question, but what is the story behind it? So, whew, and now there's more questions, but. Oh, let's see. Richard asked, did I hear somewhere there might be doing a smaller version of Six Portals? Yes, I can say now that I discussed it with Ravensburger, and they've agreed that it's a good idea because like people want it. I've seen bootlegs of Six Portals in 1,000 piece, unfortunately. And I'm certainly there's been many people who have been clamoring for it who like don't have the space or the fortitude to attempt the higher piece count. So yes, Ravensburger will be releasing the 1,000 piece Six Portals. Probably not until towards the end of the year. They were able to slot it into their calendar. So 2026, maybe or even early 2027 before you see it. But I do have another piece count announcement that I have not announced on any of my other platforms.
Ooh.
But the Tropical Dragons, which is currently out in the 4,000 piece, that one is also immensely popular. And as a result, Ravensburger has also decided to offer it in a lower piece count. So you're going to see that. I think for that one, they're going for 1,500 pieces.
Oh, nice.
So that, yeah. So if anybody wants those in the slightly smaller piece count, or if you just need like something to do for an evening, those will be available. So I'm so glad that Ravensburger is going to release those because I know they're really popular images. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. Thank you for telling us first.
Yeah, you're the first people to hear. You know, Ravensburger, I tell you, the art directors, they are lovely people. I've been working with them since whatever 8 years ago was, 2018, I think I met one of my first art directors from Ravensburger. And I've worked with both the German and the US team
Uh-huh.
because there's two groups based on the territory. And everyone, they're just very lovely people. They're always about the art first, the puzzler first. I mean, it's certainly the reputation that Ravensburger has permeates through their entire company culture, and they're just like I so enjoy whenever I'm chatting with one of the Ravensburger art directors. They're just great. So very happy.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
glad they're doing it for
yeah.
Tropical
So
Dragons as well.
it's going to be awesome. Vicky, you're going to have fun. Is this now you're meeting with Ravensburger at the Toy Fair? Is this your first time getting to talk to anyone?
So I've been in touch with a lady called Charlotte with
Hmm.
Ravensburger UK. I think she's more the sort of the media, social media
Hmm.
kind of side of things. And I've met her at um the UK Nationals because we had our first like um World Jigsaw Puzzle Federation endorsed UK Nationals competition last year. So I met her at that. Ravensburger sponsored that. And she sends me puzzles sometimes and just, new ones out and says, have a go at this, let us know what you think. And he actually sent me this, the six
Mhm.
portals. Charlotte sent me
Oh,
the six portals. Yeah.
nice.
Because I told her I wanted it. I was really excited about both the 7Ks that came out, and she sent me this one, and I was like, oh, so I've been telling her that I've been live streaming it and I've been chatting with
Yeah,
you and stuff, and she's really lovely. But
yeah,
this is the
nice.
first time I've ever done anything quite like this.
Hmm.
I mean, the toy fair happens every year, apparently. I didn't really know that much about it, but apparently it does. And I guess Ravensburger will go every year, but this year she invited me, so I was really, really
Yeah.
chuffed.
Oh,
I
that'll be
can't wait.
cool.
But so it'll be the first time I get to meet the wider team, I suppose
Hmm.
you could say. Really, it's been Charlotte who I've been talking to, but
Hmm.
she says there's going to be like loads of us there and at the stand and everything, and it's going to be loads of fun. So
Hmm.
can't wait. I
Yeah.
really can't wait.
Toy fair should be fun. I have not been to Toy Fair, but I've been to similar shows, and my agent has been to Toy Fair, the one in the US. And it's just like expect like visual overload because those
Nice.
booths for all the other companies, and usually they give away they're giving away swag. Hopefully, I'm assuming this version of Toy Fair will also uh be so, but it'll be fun. It'll be exhausting. It'll just expect me like visually overwhelmed in a great way. So you should have
Yeah,
fun.
I've got a sort of a rough idea. There's like YouTube videos and stuff where like highlights from previous years. So
Mhm.
I've been watching those and just and everything I watch, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel like a big kid. I really can't wait to go. Um, but yeah, so but I mean, I just feel honoured that they asked me because it's not just open to the general public. You have to sort of
Yeah.
be in the industry in some capacity. So I've been invited as
Yeah.
a Ravensburger guest. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely brilliant, and I'm going to get to find
Oh.
out new puzzles that are coming out this year and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So yeah, I can't wait. But and she did say I would get to chat to the puzzle developer at Ravensburger
Mhm.
UK. So I was like, hmm,
Cool.
hmm.
Oh, that's fun. That's awesome. Oh, I'm
I've been making
excited for you.
notes.
Cool.
But obviously, I want to make sure that you're okay with doing an 18K before you start dropping your name.
Yeah. It's like anything. Like, okay, when I first was approached by Ravensburger for my very first puzzle, it was the 2000 piece, and it was a larger size image than I'd ever designed, and I was scared, but I was like, I'm gonna say yes. And then when Six Portals came across my email, right? Or at that point, they were just like, we would love you to design a 7,000 piece for us. Like, I think most people have heard this story. Like, I had just had a baby like 2 weeks prior, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this sounds like a bad idea. Let me do it anyways because it's going to be fun and it's going to be an opportunity. And I enjoy taking on challenges. And the nice thing about Ravensburger is they understand they're not going to give me an unrealistic deadline. I
Uh-huh.
think that's the thing. They're going to know it's going to probably take me a year. Usually, like I said, their art directors are very, and I'm sitting here saying Ravensburger has wonderful art directors. I'm going to say I work with a lot of different puzzle companies, and I don't think I've ever found an art director I didn't like. Like everybody
Hmm.
has, like in the puzzle industry in general, there's a certain type of personality I think that's attracted to the role who is usually just very kind, open minded, artist centric. And I'm talking about Ravensburger, but I've also worked for Bubble and Seco. And I should, oh my gosh, we did this last time. I listed like all 30 of
Yeah.
them. And I'm afraid to start listing one or two or three because then if I forget somebody, I'm like, I don't want to insult anyone. I love you all, puzzle industry. If my name is on a puzzle, then I stand behind that brand because I don't work with brands that I that I don't feel confident in their product. And if there's a
Mm.
puzzle company I haven't worked with, right, it might just be they haven't asked me yet.
So I'm just going to
Got
shut
you.
up. I'm going to get myself in trouble. I don't want any art directors to get mad at me. And then I'm going to get an email from my agent on Monday morning saying, Rose, what did you say on the internet about, I don't know. It's the world we live in now. You never know.
Well, the
How
message
about I
I'm
answer
getting is that
questions
they're
instead?
all lovely. Our directors as a
Yeah,
bunch just
they
seem to
are.
be lovely.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you answer some more
Okay.
questions.
Questions. Okay, Rose, are you able to tell us what, if any, puzzle you are developing at this moment? Well, there's some things I could tell you about and some things I can't tell you about. So back a few months ago, I did a backer kit campaign, which if you're not familiar with backer kit, it's like Kickstarter. And we crowdfunded several puzzle designs that were like entirely my own creation as far as I was the art director, and they're all Centurnia puzzles, and I'm currently working on those right now. So the aquarium gown, I've posted some of those to images to social media. My website, I am starting to actually reactivate my old blog because I get frustrated by the fact that I'm on all these different spaces and I can't control what the algorithms do. I can't control
Mm.
what things are shown to people. And I'm like, this is stupid. I'm just going to always try to collect everything and repost it on my website. So if you want to find it, and then you don't have to subscribe to anything either and be bombarded with things on your feed that you don't want to see at the moment. And I'm going to be posting this week some updates on this aquarium gown image, which is Centurnia thing. Vicky, have you seen this? I don't know if you've been following how I know you saw the
I
sketches because you supported my backer kit.
Yeah, I've been seeing. So I'm on Facebook, and I get
Yeah.
your things come up in my feed. Your page comes up in my feed quite a lot,
Hmm.
and I've been seeing the updates that you've been
Yeah.
showing on the aquarium gown. And
Yeah.
the last one I saw, I think, was you had to put two figures in to figure out the shadows or something for
Yes,
the light
yes.
coming
So
through.
you've,
So
yep.
yes, I have been seeing stuff, but that's good to
Mhm.
know that it's on your website because I may well have missed things. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I'm starting. I mean, there's not a ton of content yet because I've just started this at the first of the year trying to basically cross post. So if you're already happily following me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, I'm going to continue to post on those platforms. But now I'm just going to also make sure everything is in duplication on my website. So if people do want to go through. But this image specifically to answer, who said it? Julie. Julie asked me this question. So it's a scene from the second Centurion novel, and it's Misa, and it's a kind of a dream vision moment of magic thing, and she's wearing this gown, but the gown is also turning into um what's it called? Like an ocean water with fish literally swimming through it in midair, and she's on like a thing in the by thing. What I mean, swing in a tower room. So and then so it's a very beautiful scene with a lot of very strong magic feeling. It's probably one of the brightest puzzles I've done. I tend to go dark in my puzzle design, and I feel like this year I'm like kind of committed to being brighter. So that's the puzzle I am currently working on. I just finished one for White Mountain a couple weeks ago. And that is another, if you're a fan of my library book nook images, that's another library scene with a lot of, it's a cozy space with nice little windows in the background that show kind of a dreary, drizzly, I like picture it like freezing rain. And the room obviously is very nice. And there's a puzzle on the table. So that one was just finished. And then once I finish Aquarium Gown, we're going to go on to the Dance at Waters Glade, which is the underground ballroom casino. And Vicky's going to be drawn into that image. And it's a Saturnia image. It's going to be fun. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm secretly planning, I'm going to draw that one much large. I'm going to go for a really high file size because I'm like, I'm going to secretly hope that they pick that up first. Somebody picks it up in large piece count because
Oh,
there's
that'd
going to
be
be
great.
so much to that image that it would lend itself well to that because there's going to be a lot of characters in it. So that's my goal. But then I never know if I'm going to get an email from an art director who's like, "Hey, can you do this sort of scene for us. So, but that's what I currently have. And then as far as upcoming releases this year, we have the two Ravensburgers in the new piece counts. We have the White Mountain images coming out. Eurographics just released now about a month ago the Dance at Dusk, and I have a secret puzzle coming out with Ravensburger this year that I can't say about, but that's so there's going to be another. So there'll be like 3 Ravensburger releases this year.
That's exciting.
Oh, I didn't tell you this one. This is very exciting.
Ooh.
Seiko, who had I don't know if any of you have done my little lizard. I have 2 lizard garden images. One Seiko published as a 750 piece glow in the dark image, and then I have one out with Cobble Hill, and that one's called Lantern Light, and that one has a lantern in the middle of a succulent garden with a lot of little lizards. So if you like those sorts of very calm scenes, I have 2 of them. Anyways, okay, the thing with the Seiko one, that one came out almost 2-3 years ago, and it was recently a company decided that they were going to make an AI duplicate copycat, which is unfortunately becoming very, very, very prominent. And legally, us artists, we can't do anything about it because it sort of falls into the category of derivative work. But derivative work was not the way copyright law was written. It was not designed for AI. There was no way that when those laws were written, they had any idea that this technology would come in and just basically destroy our means for, because it used to be if I made an image, right? I have the rights to that image and I have that right for my entire life. And then even past my death, 70 years past my death. So if my children wanted to continue to use my portfolio and profit from my name, they could. Okay. That's how copyright law worked. Previously, if someone, sorry guys, I don't know if you wanted to get a lesson on copyright law, but here you go. Previously, what would happen, because I mean, an idea is not copyrightable. So with the example of that little lizard garden, if some other puzzle company saw and was like, hey, we want to make our own, they would have to hire an artist they could copy the concept. But I tell you, if you have another artist who's copying a concept, their own skill is going to come through, and it is going to take them time to duplicate the image. So it was never an issue before when you had other artists mimicking other designs of puzzles. It was fine, right? But now somebody could just take my image, not be an artist, run it through an AI filter. It spits out, like in one afternoon, 50 different variations. And at this point, most of those variations aren't fantastic, right? There's little things that as a puzzler would drive you crazy. But if you're looking at on Amazon and you see a little thumbnail that's this big, you're not going to know that, right? You're just going to see, oh, it's a pretty puzzle, right? And now they're competing in the same spaces. And this has happened to me. It's happened to Nathaniel Mortensen. It's happened to Bridget Ashwood. It's happened to Amy Stewart, all of us. And it's very frustrating for puzzle companies, and it's very frustrating for artists because there is no legal protection. Because before I could be like, well, you copied my image, right? I could actually get a lawyer, but no lawyer is going to touch this because the law doesn't exist. So this is a frustration. Okay, how this relates back to that Seiko, because I'm coming back to that. Because a company duplicated it, there was a Reddit post, and there was, a lot of energy, I would say, online to be like, hey, this isn't great. But Seiko saw that, you know what, a lot of people do love this image still, and they've actually decided to renew the contract. So if you wanted to get the Seiko Little Lizard Garden that previously had run its course, they are re-releasing it. I am not sure what the piece count is or if it's going to be a glow in the dark this time around, but I'm very excited. So if you missed that image, the original Little Lizard Garden, they have very kindly, I'm sorry, I went on that huge copyright tangent to get back to, hey, Seiko is renewing the contract and is going to go for another cycle, which is very lovely of them. And I'm glad they decided to do that. And I'm glad they saw how popular the image is, because that's the thing, these copycats they're only copying like the good art, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of do their own to a certain extent. But anyways, I'm sorry, guys. I hope I didn't go on too far of a tangent. I'll just shut up now and let Vicky talk. Get very
That's really good of
passionate
Zico
about
to
it.
do that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you're not gonna get anyone that disagrees with you in here. It's not good and it's not fair, and they're gonna have to. I don't know. They'll have to do something eventually, surely. For all like, I know that
I don't
they
know.
don't necessarily sort of foresee this kind of thing happening, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to just let it carry on happening. It's.
We're gonna have to have massive reform, and I don't know if it's gonna come from the U.S. I honestly think probably some European countries are more likely to address this issue head on,
Yeah,
because right now it seems like the broader political sentiment to AI is, well, let's just let it happen because we want to be the first country to corner the market, and let's let AI flourish without regard for, I mean, it's not just visual artists, it impacts animators, it
mm,
is singers and narrators and filmmakers and like there's so many writers. Oh my goodness, the way it's awful for writers right now. It's just frustrating, and it's just crazy when I try to explain to people that this is essentially rendered copyright law dead, because I could create art, but I have nothing, no protection that my stuff isn't just going to be duplicated, as what happened with, like I said, Six Portals. There's thousands. If
yeah,
you see 1,000-piece Six Portals right now, it is not a Ravensburger, because the Ravensburger isn't coming out to the end of the year. It's rather unfortunate. Um, it's really frustrating. But on the bright side, that's why having communities like this, that people who appreciate the artists behind the puzzles, because we exist. If you've never thought about us before, if you flip over the box, if you look at the little copyright line, we are always credited. We might not be credited on the front of the box. We might not have our signatures, but right next to the copyright law or copyright line, that's where you could find us. That's where you could look us up. All of us have Instagrams and websites, and we're out there, and we love sharing, and we love hearing from people. And I know I speak for all other artists in the puzzle community that we value you, the puzzler, and like, don't be afraid to reach out to us, because we're just normal people who like puzzles and like fun images, and um, you help us thrive, and hopefully strengthen the chance for us to continue to have a place and not be overrun by AI. So, okay, I'm good. I'm off my AI soapbox. I promise. Vicky, you could pick a new topic. You could ask me on anything else. I'm
Um,
yeah.
actually, you reminded me of something. Talking
Uh-huh.
about artists and reaching out and stuff like that. You did with Donna Louise, did you?
Yes.
For the little
Yes.
puzzles. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just wondered it like
Yeah.
I've not actually watched her video yet, and I do intend to watch her video. She's doing a little series on
Yeah.
artists, that behind the puzzles at the moment. But
Yes.
um, yeah, I just wondered
Yeah.
how that
She's
was.
lovely. It was lovely. I
Yeah.
mean, she had a lot of great questions for me, and we juxtaposed them over her. I think we cut it down to a nice like half hour, and she showed the whole process of her and her team putting together Six Portals. And she had a lot of good questions for me, and yeah, she's really nice. And now she wants to read Centurnia, so I'm actually, this week I'm going to be sending her copies of the audiobooks, so I could hopefully bring her as a Centurnia fan as well as a puzzle fan. So yeah, that was lovely. And um, it's just, it's cool. That video got like 36,000 views too. I was like, holy cow,
Yeah.
lots of people love Six Portals.
Yeah,
Whoa.
oh, that
So
does not surprise me at all. And Donna Louise is
yeah,
lovely. We've known each other a wee while, through
yeah,
the puzzle channels.
yeah.
Um, and she's actually coming to the UK in April for the UK Nationals, so we're gonna spend some time puzzling together.
Mhm.
And I'm really looking forward to it, so it's gonna be great. Um,
Cool.
I'm trying to think what I was going to ask you. A lot of it's been covered.
That's cool. And I'm seeing we have a few more questions. Okay, we've got a few more questions in the chat. So hopefully, if you remember, interrupt me, even if I am mid tangent. Okay, Vicky, you can interrupt me.
I
I know it's
will.
hard because like I get into teacher, I get into professor mode, right? And I just will go on and on and on and on. And okay, somebody was talking about the AI issue. Did you sign this puzzle, Rose? Um, okay, so as far as signing puzzles go, like I'm one of the few puzzle illustrators that make sure that my signature is very prominent on like every single puzzle that has ever been printed. So I don't know if that quite answered your question, Kara. But when you're looking for a puzzle, and I try to make my signatures as big as I could possibly get away with, and I make them on a separate layer. And occasionally, art directors ask me if I could reduce the size a little bit, because I also don't know with the crop lines and whatnot. But I push it as far as I can because I'm like, hey, I want people to know this is me. And sometimes I don't think artists do that, or they're not as confident, or they licensing is a funny world because we do separate ourselves from the art to a certain extent. And I've been very much like, no, I want my signature out there. Let's see. Julie wants to know, Rose, are you surprised to see how popular Six Portals has become? I am so super surprised. This is the first time, because I think this Six Portals was like my 27th, 28th published puzzle. And it was the first time that like with the pre-orders, people were like talking about it. And the fact that like Vicky, you're putting this together was like awesome. And no, this is definitely, I don't know if there was another, if you guys could name another puzzle, another artist that, I mean, certainly there are releases with some puzzle artists that are like a lot of the stuff that Amy Stewart, first of all, Amy Stewart is a lovely artist and I have met her and she's awesome. And she's just as like, her art exudes warmth and bubbliness and friendliness, and her personality comes through so clearly. Like she's a lovely person. But anyway, some of her puzzle designs too. I know there's a lot of hype that builds up around them, but Six Portals has been quite interesting. And it's no, I didn't expect this response from a puzzle, and I love it, and I'm excited for it. But yeah, it's no idea that this was going to happen, and I don't know even if Ravensburger anticipated it. It was just I don't know, a good hit. I don't know why, Vicky. You've been. I mean, as a from your perspective in the puzzle from a puzzle. Blah, blah, blah. Why do you think Six Portals has been successful from your perspective? Like, what is it about this, or is it just, chance
Um,
that it gained popularity?
no, I don't think it's chance. I think it's beautiful artwork. I think that the thought you've put into how the puzzler's gonna see it and tackle it, that makes a difference, I think. I also think that it was a new piece count. I think people were
Hmm.
excited because there weren't 7,000 piece puzzles before, and suddenly we were getting two new ones. So it was like, oh,
Hmm.
and so there was that kind of hyped things up as well. Um, and the fact that it's a puzzle that um it seems approachable. Like it's not like you don't look at it and think, oh God, it's just too big and I'm scared of it. It's not like that at all. It if anything, it's like I was saying earlier, people that don't do large piece counts are doing them because I don't know if it's because of the collage nature of it, in terms of, you've got these separate portals, or I'm not sure. Like, I just think it's an approachable puzzle. It looks fun.
Hmm.
It doesn't look like it's going to be super taxing or difficult to do, but it also looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and the
Hmm.
size gives it a wee bit of a challenge, I guess. People
Yeah.
that love big puzzles are going to love it, and people that don't necessarily are going to love it. I just think
Hmm.
it's got something for everybody. But I also think
Yeah.
the fact that it was a new piece count, um,
Hmm.
got excitement and well, it got anticipation going. It was like, oh, there's
Yeah.
7,000 piece puzzles coming. Like, this is going to be interesting. What's the
Hmm.
box going to be like, and how big's that going to be, and how many bags will it be in, and that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of things
I
going on, but I think the way you've designed it, I think that makes a big difference too, because you had
yeah.
the puzzler in mind, and it shows.
Yeah.
It comes
Yeah.
through.
Huh. Thank you. Um, now I'm like, now that Six Portals has happened, it's like I wonder if I did do an 18,000 or another large piece count, would it have the same level of success or and buzz? And now, because now that I've done this design, like it was very easy to do this style of puzzle design, and it was out of, as I've said before, out of necessity because I needed to keep the file sizes small. It was also a way for me as I was looking at it, because this was daunting from my perspective as well, to be able to separate out the image in panels made it easier for me to approach it from an artistic standpoint. And if you look at my sketches, I need to post more of my sketches. Like there's a very coherent flow to the image. Like if you look very careful, and I'll post this to my website. So if you're excited to hear about this, and if I somehow don't post it in the next week or two, message me and be like, hey, that thing you talked about in Vicky's, can you make sure you post it? If you
Okay.
look at, I wish I had the Six Portals in front of me. I don't. There's an arc that happens in the items in the sky. And if you go from the red portal back to the nighttime portal, it goes like a curve. And then if you look down at the scene, so they all have a very distinct, here's the background, and then here you have the middle ground, and then you have large items in the foreground, but there's also a curve to the way they come in. So if you look at my early sketches for the entire image overall, it's like a circular spiral, because what I was trying to do is, how am I going to create, and this is often what goes on in my head, I'm creating an image. I want, thank you, Vicky. Thank you. So like if you look at the way the curve of, okay, so here's some little art 101. Thank you. Okay, so if you
Hmm.
look at the left portal with the autumn portal, right? All
Yeah.
of those branches point inwards. For the most part, I mean, you do have the natural flow of the branches, but the dominant movement, the bird
Is that
is
way?
moving in, right? So your eye goes up. The next thing your eye hits is that airship in the desert panel. And look, I don't know if you guys notice this, the dragon is also moving in that inward direction. And then
Yeah, I
you get
see it.
towards the center, and then you have the balloon. So there's not a single, I couldn't do a single object that was in the center of the sky, because then it was going to cross between the green and the blue panel, but I have the images come up. So then the balloon is like the highest point. And now if you look from the opposite side, right, if
That's
you
going
start
that
at
way.
the nighttime panel, right, the tree on the far side of the nighttime panel, right, goes inward and it points up. And then you have the curve of the moon. And then you have those three dragons in the winter panel, and they're all facing in. So as you follow your eye from the winter panel to the airships in the blue panel, that's what's happening. And then if you look at the bottom, right, there is, even though I mess with the perspective as far as some things are closer to the viewer and some things are the further away, there is a decently consistent line. Like if you look at, okay, so Vicky, if you point to the meadow, or excuse me, like where the birds are in the green one, and
Oh, yeah.
that rock line for the waterfall panel, right?
Yeah.
That rock line leads you to the line of the water, which is roughly where the line of the snow is. And then, so you see there's a consistent
Oh, I
line
see.
there.
Yeah,
And then
there.
everything below that line is larger, like all of the flowers, like the turtle, and it's easier for the viewer to latch on to. So there's a great deal of visual organization that I did that you look at and you're like, oh, it's pretty, right? If you look now, here's another thing that happens at the center plane of the if you go to the horizon line, right, where you have the mountains and all the panels, that
Yeah.
horizon line falls roughly in the same place, but it's not a static straight line. You have all the ups and downs
with the mountains, and then when you get to the nighttime panel, you have buildings instead of mountain because I wanted to have variation. So it was this balancing act between how do I have a lot of stuff? It all looks different, but there's a similarity and consistency and flow that goes through the entire image. So it's those sorts of things I'm thinking about as I'm organizing an image. So it looks cohesive, but it's all
Yeah.
different. It has different variation. And then of course, obviously the color variation is something I rely on a lot in my puzzles as far as putting a rainbow in there because the eye loves a nice organized rainbow. And then I made sure there was variations in all of the skies, so none of them is quite the same time of day. So like that's the thought process I have, and even in the ways I made, none of those borders are the same. Like every single one is different and drawn from scratch, and has the different creatures in each of them,
Yeah.
and even going down to the bottoms. So I forgot what was the start of this thought,
No, I think,
but thank you. Yeah,
well, I actually, that kind of answers question for me really, because when we do large piece count puzzles can be one continuous image, or they can be like separate things like a collage. And some some people who do large piece counts can be like, well, I prefer a continuous image, otherwise it feels like I'm doing lots of smaller puzzles. But
yeah,
I have heard from other people that this even though you've got six distinct portals, this somehow hits a bit differently to just a collage with six portals in it. Like, and there's nothing wrong with collages. I love big collages, and
yeah.
I love both personally. But I
Mhm.
couldn't have put my finger on why this hit differently. But you've just explained why it does, because there's a
Yeah,
cohesion that you sort of sense, but that you can't. I mean, not being an artist, I
yeah,
haven't necessarily picked up on that, but I can see it.
yeah,
When you're saying it, I'm like,
yeah,
oh yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if it stemmed from that when we were talking about large piece counts and stuff, but I'm really glad you
yeah,
explained that, because I
yeah.
never would have.
Mhm.
It's one of those funny things where when you can't quite put your finger on it, it's
Yep.
there. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yes,
And you've
yes, yes.
and you've just explained why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So,
So
and I'm
that's
glad.
awesome.
I'm so glad I have the opportunity to explain this because otherwise I just, be a little artist sitting in my house and drawing these images. And I'm glad that people have picked up on that, and that all my intention through the image was conveyed well. But no, this makes me think if I did an 18,000. Now, here's a question. Like, if I did, and this is my question to the group, and then I do see we have some more questions and comments, and I'll jump back. If I was invited to do an 18,000 piece, um, I could do the same thing I did with six portals and make it like the eight or 10 portals and do the same, but different, different images, different colors, different landscapes. And I could rely on that formula and do the same thing again. Cause I mean, if it worked once, or if that happened, if you saw an 18,000 piece and it was, let's call it the 10 portals or whatever, would that feel cheap if I just copied the same formula, right? Because it worked, or because I mean, it certainly there was a lot of thought, or would you expect the image to be very different structurally? I don't know. How do you people feel? Let's say I hope I'm conveying the question well, because there's definitely a formula and thought, and I mean, I might be the first artist to use this formula for puzzles, but I don't know. I'm sorry, Vicky. Go ahead.
I think it would work if it was different enough from this, if you see what I
Hmm.
mean. Like I
Yeah.
think yes, the formula could be the same, but I think there'd have to be enough difference, if you see what I mean, to keep.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, because it may
Ooh.
be that it may be that they just sort of think, oh well, you know, I loved the six portals. I don't do I want to do. I don't know how many portals would you put in an 18K.
Don't know.
18 portals.
Yeah. Somebody's saying 12 dragons. Oh, Thomas is saying 12 dragons zodiac portals.
I don't think it
Zodiac is
would
fun.
be
I've never,
cheap. I think that's the wrong word. I don't think it would be cheap at all. I think it would be lovely.
yeah.
I think it could be the same, but I think there'd have to be like another, or like a theme, like dragons, like Thomas said. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I
I mean,
don't know.
and certainly
This
it
is
could
why
have
I
a
don't
different frame.
design puzzles.
And like having the borders, because the borders are part of what made it easier in order to break down the image. So I could design large while being on my tiny little iPad. It was out of necessity. I have heard, it's a lot of artistic things. Like sometimes when you're a creative person, having constraints is what leads you to greater levels of creativity. Because if I did not have
Mhm.
the constraint of, I need to figure out how to make this work, how to make a huge image and deal with the memory limitations of my iPad, I would not have arrived on this particular design. Okay, I'm reading what people are saying. I don't think a separate image. Okay, I don't think I would mind if the 18K had separate images. I'm never a fan of the obvious center split separate two sides. It takes away from the art. And I think that's the thing with six portals, because technically you do have a very distinct line in the center. And the reason it doesn't look obvious is it was like, oh, here's lots of lines that move throughout the entire image. So that the center division is no longer grabs your attention, right?
Yeah, no,
Or
agreed.
else could
That's a thing. With some Ravensburger puzzle, like large piece counts, there's just like
hmm
a really obvious line, and unless it's worked in cleverly, it looks a
hmm
bit odd, or it can. I
yeah,
think they're not as prevalent now in the newer releases, but some of the older ones. I don't know if you've seen. There's one called Underwater Paradise. It's a 9,000 piece, and that's split into two, like this one down the
yeah,
middle. Um, and there's basically just this sort of empty bit of it's just a cross section of the ocean, and there's loads of
yeah,
fish, and there's just this
right.
empty bit of ocean right down the middle. Like there's no
Oh, I
fish,
haven't.
there's no nothing.
I
It's
think
it's
I've
kind of
seen it. I'd have to. Now I want to. If I open my window, I'm going to lose my YouTube window. But I'm gonna do that. What's that one called? Dan, you said it's
it's
Ravensburgers.
called Underwater Paradise. Um, and it's 9,000 pieces, and I call it the fish force field. Um,
Fish force. Oh my gosh, let me look.
but you'll see what I
Oh,
mean
I
when you
see what you.
see it.
Yeah.
And
Out of
they've
the.
become better at
Ah.
sort of covering that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I could see why. And but I mean, so this is a lovely image. Oh my
oh
goodness.
yeah,
Who
yeah,
did this?
absolutely, it is.
Oh my God.
Um,
Who's the artist? Who's the artist? Hey, one thing you could tell Ravensburger, I mean, they probably already have this awareness, but yes, they always have the artist names in the copyright line, but to
mhm.
really start to put our names a little more front and center, because I mean, I'm sure I could figure out who the artist is, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to make Ravensburger mad and give somebody more work. But and I do think there is this shift in the puzzle industry to put us, the artists, a little more into the forefront. Because now I wonder who's the illustrator who did this, and I'm going to have to. Was there a box image? Let me see.
Well, I don't know
Um,
who the artist is of that, but I don't personally think that's necessarily what the artist intended. I think that was
yeah, no,
maybe
no,
a thing to make it easier to cut the puzzle or
yeah,
something, because they cut it in such a way that um the image doesn't necessarily line up. So if you've got a lot of detail going on down the middle,
right,
it might not align,
yeah,
if you see what I mean. So
hmm
I think there were sort
right,
of technical issues behind that, and there was sort of a purpose
yeah.
behind it.
Oh no, no,
Um,
certainly they will, and I mean, and it's still, like I said, it's a lovely image, and like, you know what? Honestly, if I was an average person just like looking at that, I don't even think I would mentally register the fact that it is now that you've called it a fish force field, like that's what I'm calling it in my head. But as far as the solution, and actually, you know what, looking at how this artist aligned this image, they kind of followed the same formula I did. If you look at, there's a certain directional flow to the way their fish are not random. They're doing the same thing I did as far as like the curving inwards, and the fact that in the bottom you have that nice large coral structure, and then in the bottom left you have slightly larger fish, and then the way they have the fish towards the surface are curving. They did the same thing at that circular, and that is a very common compositional thing, especially when you're doing very complex images to try to control the eye. um, that's cool. Now I'm gonna have to turn off the Ravensburger website because I'm just gonna go study the comps. And I definitely do spend a lot of time looking at puzzles, but I think also I spend so much time looking at puzzles that it's all a gigantic puzzle blur at this point. Let's go back to the comments. Let's see. I think there were some questions further up that I might have missed. Okay, I'm jumping back up. People were talking about Little Lizard Garden. Oh, that's right, because there was a Diamond Art version, because Diamond Art Club did that Little Lizard Garden as well. And I think that's where it's so much fun. The cross stitch community, the Diamond Art community, and the puzzle community. There is a certain degree of overlap.
Yeah,
And it's rather nice.
definitely.
Let's
There's
see.
a few diamond painters in my Discord server.
Okay. Oh, Julie asked me a good question. Rose, do you have total control of the puzzle design, or are you given a design to adapt for the company who has approached you to do a puzzle for them? And so basically, yes and no. So sometimes I will design a puzzle and it's just like 100% all me, and I design it thinking of the puzzle companies in mind and knowing what they will like, because I spend obviously a lot of time studying their image, and my agent will show it to the puzzle companies, and there's a lot of images that they're like, yeah, that's perfect. We'll take it as is, right? Sometimes they will approach me and say, and it's often like, hey, you did this one thing for us. Can you do something similar to it again? And so I've had a few like that, or some that'll be like, oh, I saw this one in your portfolio. Can you make something like that for us, but different? That's another question. Sometimes they will ask me to change things, and for very, very good reason. And every time an art director has ever asked me to change something, I always say yes, because they understand their audience. They understand their printing presses as far as if it's a color issue. They know what sells well for their particular audience. And like, I've never, my art is not, it's okay. It is precious, but it isn't precious. It's separate from me. And ultimately, I think it's more important that the image is out in the world, even if something gets changed, and you'll see that because you'll see differences. One great example of this, if you've seen Magic Study, which came out with Buffalo Games, my original image was much more purples and teals and blue, and they saw that and they were like, this is awesome, can you make it more rainbow? And it was funny, I have the email from the art director, because I think he literally did it on his iPhone using like, put the red here and some yellow here and some green here, and he sent to me. I'm like, oh, I got it. And I made the color change, and it made it a much nicer, and this was earlier in my career, much nicer puzzling experience. Because since that time, I've sold both versions. Tate and Co. has actually put out the purple blue version, and then as well as the rainbow version. And people will say, yeah, the purple blue it's a lovely image. It's got a darker mood, but it's way harder to puzzle. So so I think that answers, I forgot who said it. I think Julie, who asked me that question about me having to change an image, or what my relationship is with the puzzle art directors, Let's see what else. Cross stitch, fall casino. Oh, see, I wonder if they would. So, Clark, I know you mentioned the underwater ballroom casino at 18K. So that is like a pure Centurnia image, and like I've never. This is such a weird, silly thing, and I don't know if I'm making this up in my head that it's a bigger deal than it is, but like, um, so how do I say this? I don't know, like a puzzle company, how do I say this? So Centurnia is I don't know how a puzzle company would feel about having like an actual Saturnia because it's like I don't know if they would, but then I do have Saturnia images out there. It's just now I'm being more open about it. I don't know. We'll see. If they approach me about it, I mean that would make it. I honestly think it might even be challenging to do that underwater ballroom at 18K. I could see it go for like a 3,000 or 4,000 piece, but the problem with doing that ballroom at 18K is I would have to come up with visual separations that I don't know because that's the architecture would kind of prevent that. Like the only way I could think of doing the underwater ballroom is if I had columns separated through but then it wouldn't be the quadrant style that would be needed to do for an 18K or right is how I'm sorry an 18K how do they break is it like four or is it like four that way like how is it Vicky
So it's
how do they break them
um hang on, I've got a handful of pieces. So it's like it's wider than it is tall, and each
right
section is wider than it is tall. Does that make sense? So it's
yeah
four
so
corners and they're slightly wider
okay,
than
so there
taller.
is, so they'd be stacked like that. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know if that would, so I don't think the ballroom image would work because I wouldn't be able to come up with a vertical, excuse me, a horizontal break. But if you had an image like if you've done Portals of the Four Realms, right? And that one, the image is separated by the vines, and that's broken down into quadrants. So a design more like that would be better for an 18K having that sort of separation. Um, but I don't know. It's a thought, Clark. It's like like I said, I definitely can picture that going high piece count. I just think 18K would be a different beast. And then here's the other thing: that underwater ballroom, it's very the atmosphere of underwater and giving that visual feeling, right? It's a lot of blues. There is areas where you have kind of very electric neon magic lights, right? But the amount of color it feels like it goes more blues purples and I feel like if I did an 18K I would have to do something similar to what I did with Six Portals and make sure the design incorporated a rainbow of color because that's
yeah.
another reason I think Six Portals is so popular and because it has that color shift because I'm able to use all the range. So if I did do an 18K I would definitely think there's going to be have to be some sort of rainbow color shift in order to do that. So that's another reason I'm like, that would be. But these are it's wonderful that you all have these suggestions and ideas because it's allowing me to think. Because someday when Ravensburger does send me that email, I'll be like, oh, I've actually thought this through a little bit.
Yeah, the
Okay.
I don't know how other artists go about it. Like sometimes there is I've not actually built a Ravensburger 18,000 piece yet. So I can only go on what the images I've seen. I do own a few, but I've not actually done one.
Mhm.
Usually the lines, I don't know, I find the horizontal lines so that if there's some kind of divider type feature in the
Mhm.
image, I find that
Yeah.
usually you notice the vertical ones more than the horizontal ones. In this
Mhm.
one, my Star Wars puzzle, that has I can just show you. Hang on.
Yeah. Pull it up.
Um 2 seconds, it's I've got stuff stacked on top of it. Ignore the dust. So this is my Star Wars 18,000 piece. This one doesn't have
Okay.
as obvious a vertical line. This one's
Mhm.
just sort of it's like they've just put people there, but you can see the horizontal one on that one.
Mhm. Okay, I'm
You've got
wait.
them.
Sorry, there's a delay, so I still haven't. I still haven't. Oh, it's so funny
You've
the way that. Ah, there it is. Okay. Oh,
you've got
now
so
I'm
you've
seeing it.
got
Now I'm seeing it.
the Millennium Falcon streak thing. So that's
Yeah.
the kind of visual feature that divides it. But there isn't really one that way though, which is I don't know. But then there's one behind me which has both.
Wait, so where did they do the horizontal break on, or excuse me, the vertical break? Where does that?
So this one's probably a better example of it. Oh no, there's dust. Sorry. Right. So
I'm
this is
trying to
Colin
figure out where the
Thompson.
vertical. Okay,
So
wait. Sorry. There's
so
a delay. Give me like a 20-second delay here because it's funny because
okay.
I see you on my phone. I see it, but my YouTube delay is like 20 seconds here because it's this is interesting. Okay, now it's come. Well, that's a very
So
obvious
yeah.
answer.
So this
You
is
know,
this is a better one to show how it is divided up
yeah,
because literally
right.
that is a section.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
section. Yeah.
And the thing is, so you said it was Colin Thompson is the artist on that one?
This one's Colin Thompson. Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
magical bookcase.
Yeah,
So
and you could see how he makes those lines feel organic because he has other thick lines that move throughout the image as well, like in the different, especially in the lower right quadrant and the lower left quadrant. So it doesn't
yeah.
seem as obvious, right? That's nice. That's a very nice composition. That looks
Yeah,
fun.
no, it doesn't seem as obvious in that sense, but you can see now how it's divided. But it depends, a
Yeah.
lot depends on the image and the artist, I guess. That the Star
Hmm.
Wars one has an obvious horizontal line, but not an obvious vertical one. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, the
so
vertical one is puzzling me how that now I'm gonna after I get off this call, I'm gonna have to pull up the Star Wars image and try to figure out where the break is because that's not as obvious to me.
they've just re-released. This is Ravensburger. They've just re-released an 18,000 piece called "An Evening Walk in Paris,"
Hmm.
and that's quite nicely done. You can, if you look closely, you can see um kind of a vertical line-ish, but
Hmm.
it's not as obvious as like the underwater paradise, for example.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it just varies, depends on
Yeah.
how they go about it.
Now I feel like because of this conversation, I'm going to be doing more sketches, figure out how to hide seams for high piece count. Like I feel like that'd be fun. Sorry, I'm seeing my future in high piece counts because the other thing that's going on in my brain is like, well, it's much harder for an AI to come up with a high piece count puzzle. And if that's going to be like an area where I'll have less competition, right? That's uh
Well,
that's the thing. And
let's
AI
just
isn't going to be able to figure out how to hide things with seams and sorry, I went down that rabbit hole again.
we're large piece count enthusiasts here, so we're
Yeah.
really going to encourage this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
This
okay.
this board's done. Just to say, I finished this side.
Cool.
All
Yay.
gaps filled in.
Lovely.
So now onto the tree.
Okay. I could go on to my questions here. 18,000, an 18,000 piece window into Saturnia. Someone reading or puzzling with Saturnia through a window. Thank you, Karen. I like that idea. Um, I think sometimes I get mentally hung up about Saturnia and puzzles because I feel like, first of all, Saturnia is not crazy, but like I've sold thousands of copies, right? But if you go look at my little Amazon rankings, they're pathetic, right? So I feel like a puzzle company is unlikely to, and this is why I never used the word Saturnia before because I'm like, well, it doesn't have a big enough brand name, right? It's not like Fourth Ring or Court of Thorns and Roses or Harry Potter or whatever, right? It's not. I'm not. Perhaps I'm being kind of like down on myself, but I'm like it's not that big, right? And then I also don't know. Story wise, it's not a kid's story. It's definitely, and not a kid's story, but it's not like a Court of Thorns and Roses. Like it's not that sort of romantic-y explicit genre. It's more like fantasy that teens to adults with because it's a lot of teenage characters. There are themes and concepts that are not appropriate for children, but fine for like a 14-year-old, right? So it's like
Mhm.
I don't know having an actual Saturnia image out there with some of the larger puzzle companies. I don't know how they would feel about that. But then again, the larger puzzles are usually geared towards adults. But now, like a company like Tate and Co, they're cool with me being like, this is a Centurnia image. They're like, they're fine because they know me, and they're like, we're delivering it more like to the fans, and that's where I have that certain degree of freedom. It's a funny thing. I don't know the audience here. What do you am I being silly, or am I being logical in that it's a funny space for me, because I'm also like one of the first puzzle artists to come out here and be like, hey, yes, there is an entire universe behind a lot of the images you see, and it's a universe I created. Like, there's not a lot of puzzle illustrators slash novelists at the same time. I'm a bizarre, I'm a unicorn. I'm a unicorn. I don't know.
I don't think you be down on yourself. I think it's really good. But should we have um an age thing? You know, like Lego
Hmm.
has like an age
Yeah,
range. I don't know why
yeah.
I'm asking. I probably should know the answer to this. But
I
I
mean,
guess they do say not suitable for younger than a certain age because of small parts, don't they? But I guess that's more a physical
yeah,
thing than it is a.
yeah. It's like a. I think they do. They have a recommended. I like. I don't have my puzzle collection behind me, so I don't know if they have a recommended age on some of them. I mean, they certainly the smaller piece counts do tend to um, target towards younger audiences. I mean, that's certainly the case for the
Yeah,
most part. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a like I said, it's a funny thing. But I'm happy that um, people who feel like, hey, there's a story here, they pick up on that and they seek it out. And if some people are just like, hey, it's just a pretty image with some unicorns and dragons, that's cool too. Like,
hmm.
I'm not that particular. Let's see, there's more questions here. Rose, do you ever get sick of your own work? I've read about artists that have worked on an art piece for so long they get sick of or hate their work. Oh, that's such a good question. Um, so most of the puzzles I work on take between 50 and 100 hours, which is a long time to be working on a piece. Um, I think I do towards the end. Sometimes I'll get fresh. Well, I also will have like the deadline, right? Because usually an art director will be like, we need it by such and such date, right? So and I almost always work up to the deadline, or usually I turn it in like a week before the deadline. I like to do that. I give myself an extra cushion. Sorry, I'm shifting around because like there's a sunbeam that's coming like right here, and I'm like, that's an awkward sunbeam, and it wasn't there before. I'm dodging my sunbeam. Um, there's certain parts that are more tedious and certain parts of a puzzle that need more thought process. And then there's certain parts of a puzzle that don't need and I try to tailor what I'm going to work on based on what I know what my situation or mood is or whatever. Like the other day I was doing dragon scales, and dragon scales get tedious, but I don't have to think about dragon scales at this point because I have a certain formula for how I do the shadow layer, then I do the highlight layer and how they'll curve around the form. Like I don't have to think about dragon scales anymore. Versus when I was first drawing dragons like 10 years ago, I had to come up with my formula for like what made a good looking dragon scale quickly and easily. And so like that's the type of thing. I was on the phone with my parents while I was like doing my little dragon scales, right? Because I don't have to think about it. Versus right now, the piece I'm working on, I have two characters from Saturnia, Jesse and Nico, and it's a high angle image. So I'm looking down at them, and that's a very difficult thing to do from perspective. So I have to set up with references and 3D models and photographs. And even with all that, it's still not quite right. And so that takes a great deal of concentration and frustration. And I have systems for how I get through the parts that are tricky, because usually something is difficult to draw if I don't know what I'm drawing. So that's why we're always pulling up reference photos. And it's like I sometimes I get into trouble if I like think I know how to draw the thing I'm drawing, but I'm like, oh, it looks wrong. Usually because then I need to go get a photo of it and be like, oh, yeah, so that's what a tiger actually looks like, or that's how the stripe pattern is. Like, um, I'm trying to think to go back to your question of do I get sick of my own work? But my puzzles have a lot of variation in them as far as like sometimes I'll be working on small little bits of texture, sometimes I'll be working on a figure, sometimes I'll have a window, but the window has a landscape beyond it. So there's variation. I think sometimes I get frustrated in that lately I've been wanting to draw more people, and generally speaking, um, some puzzle manufacturers don't like they prefer more like room scenes or like so you could like crawl into the space. Like the idea is you can envision yourself in the space, and if you put people in it, that sort of disturbs that or starts to put a different narrative in. And if you have no people, that cuts out the narrative. But I'm very character driven. So I've been doing some separate Centurnia character art that is more for me, and I'll probably put it up on the Centurnia website, but it's not going to be part of a puzzle or anything like that. So I need to like allow myself to take the time because art is my business. Sometimes it's very difficult for me to say to myself, hey, it's okay to go draw something that is for me, and so I guess that also happens to a certain extent. I get tired of thematically what I'm working on. But then as soon as I go and refresh myself, right, and I go and I draw that character portrait with a and it's usually like a character for like in an emotional scene or a romantic embrace or something like that. Like once I do it and get it out of my system, then I'm like, okay, now I could go back to drawing those library books on the shelf or those dragon scales or whatever I need to do for the puzzle. So I guess putting myself in a position of variation. I always want to draw, actually. Like I get very frustrated sometimes as a mom where I'll be like on my puzzle designing role, and then my kids come home from school, and then I'm expected to like put down the puzzle design and go be mom. And I'll be like, but I don't want to be mom. I want to keep working. So that's something that's much as a puzzler will feel like, no, I don't want to put down the pieces. I want to keep puzzling. I want to keep designing. I could keep designing like all night long. I could just like not stop because I'll also go sometimes I'll be drawing digitally and sometimes I'll be doing like real media, right? So that'll be fun. That's a different sort of enjoyment. But I've always been drawing. I think it's just like I'm very good at what I do because I love what I do, and I could do it all day long, all the time. Whew. That was a very long answer to a very simple question.
I was going to ask you something actually that you touched on a wee bit there.
Yeah,
When you've obviously been drawing dragons for quite a long time,
yeah.
and you just said that you've got like a method for doing your dragon scales and stuff like that. But obviously you have to use like pictures sometimes to get a reference of what
Yeah.
something looks like or how something moves or how the light affects it. When you're dealing with a mythical creature that doesn't exist, you can't obviously just get a photo or I
Right.
mean, I suppose people have drawn them and stuff, but
Yeah.
like, do you, how do you, would you maybe use like a lizard or something like that, something similar? Like when you first
Yeah.
started drawing dragons, for example, like how did you go about figuring out how you wanted your dragons to look?
Mhm. Well, first of
That's
all, as you mentioned, I looked at other people's dragons, right? Because
yeah.
first and foremost, I'm a fan of fantasy. I think a lot of my dragons, it's fun because people, other artists will look at it and be like, "That's horse anatomy right there. Your dragons are horses with bat wings," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I think if you look at the structure of the shape of their head, it's very similar to a horse, but with like kind of like a beak, and then I'll add the horns. I think I don't know where I have this posted, but I've drawn dragon skeletons too. Like, and that'll be like a lot of that is horse skeleton plus lizard skeleton plus bat skeleton, and putting them all together like that. And figuring out what parts are rooted in reality and what parts I can fictionalize. And like a great example of this is that aquarium gown image, which I will I will definitely post more of the progress pieces on that. Um, that has been a challenge because the way I wrote the text, it was like talking about how Misa is wearing a gown and how the gown shifts to water in the skirts and that the fish are flowing through the skirts. And Jessica, who is observing the scene, Jessica takes a moment and she's like, how is that fabric and water at the same time? So I've set myself up with this imagery within text, right? So I've created this very flowery, poetic language, and I'm like, okay, now I got to make this happen visually. But I'm like,
Yeah.
how the heck do I draw something that is both water and fabric? So I've taken a lot of time. I've looked at because there are other artists who have drawn like water fabric dresses, and now with AI, people have put these images all over Pinterest. I've looked at so I've got more experience drawing fabric, especially when I recently did the found it image with the Jessica's gown there. I did a lot more fabric studies. So for this, I've been doing a lot more water studies. So I looked at how some other artists represent water. And
Mhm.
then I think one of the most telling things for me, I had a video I had taken of my son jumping into the pool this summer, and it was one of those little Apple slow-mo videos, right?
Yeah.
So and what I did is I did it frame by frame of the actual splash as he's hitting the water. And then I did like little studies and drawings based on how to understand how the water curves and bends because it's not like just something willing, it flows. It is connected and has certain movements and patterns. And then this is where my artist brain is like, okay, how is the movements and patterns of water similar to the movements and patterns of fabric? And then
Mhm.
figuring out, and for me, the answer was in curves. So now as I'm working on Misa's gown, I'm trying to find because I found that I need to find the visual edge of the fabric and to basically now I'm drawing more like fabric that kind of breaks into the splashes and the drops of water. And that's the answer there. So the long answer to your question is you have to look at reality, gather as much of that information as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And then there comes a point as an artist, you got to be like, well, you know what? I'm also about making this pretty and
Yeah.
organizing it visually and coming up with lines and patterns and shapes and forms that make it pleasant to look at. And I guess that in its essence is the real challenge and the real job of an artist to be able to take everything in the visual world and reorganize it into a way that communicates and looks beautiful at the same time. So
Yeah.
there you
That's
go.
amazing. I know. But I've always wondered that because I would love to be able to draw dragons and stuff, and I have a kind of a vague mental image based on other ones I've
Mhm,
seen. But then, you'll see another dragon in something else and you'll
mhm.
think, oh, that one's really cool too. And what made them think of that? Why did they add this? And
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's what they thought looked pretty or cool or whatever
yeah.
element they wanted to add.
Mhm. Vicky,
I'm
if
a
you
dra-
want to draw, it'd be fun. What we could do on your Discord now. I'm giving myself more work here, but we could have like a little drawing club, and I could give people assignments and then give them critiques and like help them figure out how to improve their drawing skills. It could be like a little drawing boot camp, or I could do something. I don't know. But if you ever
I'm up
did
for
want to
that.
learn how to improve your drawing skills, like I can't stop teaching. It's just like in my blood here. But that would be fun. I would love to help you learn how to draw, like improve your dragon drawing.
I'm good with copying. Like I can look at an image and then copy it sort of fairly
Yeah.
well. I'm sort of observant enough to
Hmm.
manage that, but it's getting and I can see something in my head that looks awesome. But
Uh-huh.
getting it from my head onto a piece of paper, it just it doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
But you know what? Copying, that's what you do. It's like that is literally what I do. I just copy a lot. And so and then the more you copy, the more you know how to draw a thing. And then you no longer have to like look up what it looks like with my crystals and dragons. And now I could draw sunsets and things like that and not have to look at reference photos. But like
Yeah.
copying is fine. Like as an artist, It's like that's what we do. We look, we mimic, and then we simplify. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if I'd, because I did it a fair bit when I was like at school. I was
Hmm.
pretty good at art at school and stuff, but then I never really
Hmm.
went anywhere with it. So it's
Uh,
I'm sure I could improve given
yeah.
practice, but yeah, extremely rusty now. I've not
Yeah.
done any drawing for a while, but I do enjoy it. So yeah,
Yeah.
you volunteered yourself now. That's it. I'm gonna be
Uh-uh.
coming to you for
I'm
art
doomed.
lessons.
All right. Oh, that would be fun. I have done that before with my friends. As long as you got a sketchbook and some free time, it'd be fun. All right, we have questions that I think I have missed. Let's see. Um, okay, I answered Slitherpuff's question. Let's see. Entrepreneur Paradise. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss question. And if I have missed your question somewhere, or if you have a question for Vicky, like feel free to repeat it. Um, let's see. Oh, Julie asked, Rose, during your work drawing and designing a puzzle, have you ever been worried about not meeting your deadline? Yes and no. I'm very clear. Okay, first of all, when I agree to a deadline, I almost always give myself a week or two, like if not more, cushion in there. I have declined designs based on like the art director has too short of a deadline. And I'm like, look, I can't meet that. You really should find another artist. And sometimes I've actually said, I can't meet this deadline, but I could do this deadline. Is that okay? And often they're like, yes. 'Cause I mean, puzzles, it's an industry, it's not as urgent, right? Versus if you're trying to do advertising. Um, I'm upfront with my artist. I'm trying to think if I've ever actually asked for an extension. And I think that would be the first thing I would do, and to make sure my communication was very clear. Here's the other thing: when I do my art, I time myself, so I have a strong expectation for how long something is going to take me. And because I've been doing this for so long, I have tricks to get through something faster. And by tricks, I mean my butterflies. So it's like if I find myself like I think I go over and I've been told this before that like my 500 piece count puzzles are more detailed than some like 2,000 piece puzzles. Like my images are extremely detailed. I'm going over above. I'm the overachiever all the time. Um, but I'll look if I'm like, I know I'm going to hit a deadline and I'm like, I can't make that. Sometimes I will go through old images, especially puzzles, right? Because now I've got like over 30 of them, and I will pull out components and put them in the puzzle I'm working in. And the butterflies are a wonderful example of this. If I'm just like, wow, I can't, that tree looks weird or that whatever, if something looks funny or I know I'm not going to be able to complete it on time, I'll be like, I'll just cover it with a butterfly or two. And then sometimes, so it's like sometimes when I repeat things in my images, it's because I'm trying to speed the image along. And sometimes I repeat things in my images because now it's a fun little visual joke, like having those three little lizards carrying the cakes. I just love putting them in every puzzle because people have noticed them since the very beginning. And so they're fun to have in there. So I try to find ways to speed up an image, to cover things up, to um, make it work and save myself time. Like when I'm doing puzzles, I really like to make sure every image is drawn from scratch as much as possible. But like I said, if I think I'm going to hit a deadline, that's where I'll copy things out of other puzzle designs and bring them in. And I don't do that too often. It's like occasionally. That is my strategy. But if I did think I was running up a deadline, I have a wonderful agent who is my intermediary, as I'm often communicating with these puzzle companies. And I would just be, I'm sure some sort of life crisis at some point is going to derail a deadline for me. And just being upfront and honest with the puzzle with the art directors is what I mean, like any professional industry, right? Life happens. Oh, my battery is running low on my iPad. Okay, I'm gonna get to more questions. I am just going to take a moment and oh, we're already at 5:40. My goodness, or at least Eastern Standard Time. That's what we're at.
Oh, yeah.
What is
I know, I was sitting here thinking, will I finish this puzzle tonight? I really hope I will finish. I'm determined. I'm down to one tray.
okay? Ah, my iPad's back on charge again. Um, let's see. Okay, I answered the question about deadlines. What kind of images? Oh, someone said many seniors prefer smaller piece counts and simpler images. You know, honestly, small piece counts. Who was that? Who said that? It was Sybil. Mentioned seniors often prefer small piece counts. I prefer small piece counts, which I know must be sacrilege to say on this channel. But I just did. My daughter and I put together. I have the 300 piece Seco. It's called Cookie Creation. So it's a bunch of trays with very cute summery cookie designs. And I love putting that together because the pieces are bigger. I could do that with my kids. And like, I don't have the time and space to do like the 1,000 piece puzzles unless I have other adults with me who are like focused. So to have that enjoyment of doing puzzles, most of the puzzles I do are between 300 and 500 pieces because I'm able to do those in one or two puzzling sessions and then we're able to put it away and then the cats can't get into it. So, you know, it's not just seniors who prefer low piece counts. Like me, I definitely prefer my lower piece counts. And I bow to all of you who have the time and space to do the larger ones. I will get to that point again someday, but now I like my small piece counts.
Small piece
Let's
counts too.
see.
Small piece counts are fun.
It's just it's like that nice it's a quick dopamine rush where it's like, aha,
Mm,
I finished a puzzle in an evening. I like that a lot.
yeah,
Love that feeling.
yeah. I'll
Um,
sit and do a small one on a board on my lap sometimes, just
mhm,
at night, and yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Let's see. The question was from Beth. Diamond Art Club only has two of your designs rows, and they're currently unavailable. Will other of your works be available as kits anytime soon? There are several of my images that are in discussions with Diamond Art. Like they do the thing where they do the voting, right? And a bunch of mine have gone to the vote, and I don't know what they have decided. Like I don't have any control. Like we throw everything at Diamond Art Club. My agent has a very good relationship with them, and a lot of the other artists he represents often have work that come out with Diamond Art Club. And so we give them everything, and it's up to them. They decide what they think is going to do best with their audience. So I really don't have any control over that, but it's not for lack of like, you know, them having it. But there are other diamond art companies. If you go to my website, like Mystical Dream Diamonds is a newer company that has some of my work. So there will be more available than just through Diamond Art Club, and we're working. And there's some other companies as well. So you will see more of my art. Diamond Dots also did Crystal Dragons or Crystal Garden Unicorns. They did one of mine, but I don't know if that one's probably not available anymore. Let's see. Let's see.
So you're
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry, your work goes on puzzles, obviously, and diamond art and cross stitch. Are
Yes.
there any other types of things that
Oh,
you? I
tons.
bet. Oh yeah,
Um,
I bet there are.
yeah. Figurines. I had some dragon and unicorn figurines out. Those, I think
Oh,
the figurine industry was kind of like COVID screwed up that entire industry. So I haven't had any stuff out since COVID, but like that for a while. Fabric designs, I had some art on t-shirts sold by Hot Topic, and now Geek Tropical does these lovely Hawaiian print shirts and dresses that are like the type of thing that if you look at it, it's like, oh, that's a lovely Hawaiian shirt. Wait a minute, are those dragons hiding? Like it's that sort of design. So Geek Tropical, if you love nerdy and the quality is so good. They have a
Cool.
whole collection of my stuff. I've had my art on everything from like credit card designs to greeting cards to um,
Credit card
stitched
design.
tapestry. Yeah, like Visa did a whole like thing through card.com that if you could do like a prepaid credit card with like my unicorns on it. It's kind of
Yeah,
it's
do you
fun.
know,
It's cool.
I'm aware that they exist. You can like customize them and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
it was
just not something
that
you think
collection.
about, is it?
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
certainly you can get my art in canvases and posters and lots of stuff. If you go to my website, like I have links to lots of
Yeah.
stuff. So, um, let's see. Okay, from Beth asked me, and Beth, like, please let me know if I am mispronouncing your name. I would love to see Dragon Race into the Night as a Ravensburger large piece count. Any chance of that happening? I am trying to think who currently has the license on that. Schmidt and Spiel has the license on that, right? Am I remembering? I think they do. And they have the UK territory at this point. And I think so Ravensburger. So I think um in order for Ravensburger to release that one, I think that has to come to the end of the contract and Schmidt and Spiel would have to decide not to renew. And then at that point, I don't know how big, like it probably couldn't go large. That one, because it's an older image, it's smaller. So if Ravensburger were to release that as like a 4,000 piece or something like that, I feel like I would have to revisit the image in order to make sure the resolution would be appropriate for that. But you could recommend it. Like people, you all have the power through your emails to be like, hey, Ravensburger, we want more Rosecat Con stuff because we love her and that would be great for me. Like you seriously, you would have an impact on me if if you're honest and if you like my work, it is appreciated, and I say that for all other puzzle art. Like if you love a puzzle artist, tell the manufacturers that you want more of that artist because the art directors do listen. So it's just your voice matters. Um, because I've been in conversations with art directors at shows and I hear that. So it's a thing. Let's see. Let's see. Slitherpuff said, Rose, I just read the blurb about your book. It's hooked me. I will be buying it next week, the same day I order 6 portals. Ah. If you want to buy direct from me on my website, I do send signed copies if you are in the US. And of course, you could get it through Amazon and Audible and all that sort of thing. Let's see. Always do. Okay, I think I got all my questions. I don't know if there's any Vicky questions we missed, but you guys have been all asking such wonderful questions here.
Does anyone? Here's my question. Does anyone think I'm going to finish this tonight?
You were so optimistic in the beginning. You're like, oh no, what do I do if I have extra time?
I know.
I
I know.
distracted you.
Silly me. No, to be honest, usually it's the chat that's distracting me, so you're helping me.
Yeah.
I will. I will. I mean, it's getting there. It is getting there. This
Oh,
tree, it's bamboozling me.
I told you it was gonna be because there was a lot of the oranges and because I know the way I designed it was not like there's some parts I know I'm like, this is easy for somebody to puzzle. That tree was definitely not one of those areas that I was like, this is gonna be easy. Like that little sprinkling of challenge. Clark had another question for me. What kind of images do you create with your stained glass? Because I've talked about how I do stained glass. I haven't done
Hmm.
stained glass in years, and when I was doing stained glass, oh, some of my pieces are so old now. Definitely, I was doing more like nature scenes, like lily pads and like simple birds. The artist I learned stained glass from was actually my husband's grandfather. His name is Harry Spencer, and he's since passed away. They were the most wonderful grandparents anyone could ask for, and he and his wife had this beautiful house out in the Oregon coast, and it was like literally in the middle of a forest on a lake. It was a gorgeous house, and he had a huge workshop. And I remember being in my early 20s, dating my husband at the time, right? And he was my boyfriend at the time, now currently still my husband. Uh, and so my husband's grandpa, his career was as a forester, and then he owned a plant nursery. But then the older he got, he was like the type of person who was like just hobbies, all different hobbies. And he took up like chainsaw carving for fun, and he like carved
Yeah.
these bears. And then stained glass became one of these things that he just loved. And he did like church windows and stuff like that out in Oregon, for a lot of churches out there. And so when would go out there, we'd go visit my husband's grandparents. I'd go in that workshop, and that workshop was amazing. And that's where I did a lot of stuff. And like all of it was very, very nature based, because that's what you're surrounded by. It was just so beautiful and peaceful. And then when he passed away, like he gifted me some equipment. And since then I've, had kids, we've moved around, and I haven't had the chance to sit down. And now when I do it, I have to make sure I'm using lead-free solder, which I know is doesn't have the same fluidity as regular leaded solder. But I'm like, I really can't be working with any toxic equipment like that, which
Mhm.
is my challenge. But stained glass is just fun because it's some of the same joy that you have of puzzling, right? You're putting each of the little components together and figuring out how they go together. And then once they are a unified piece, there's this feeling of completion. And this, I don't know, it's the same. This is like a puzzler's high, right? I don't know how else to call it, but it's the same sensation when you're piecing together stained glass. So to answer your question, it's definitely more nature scenes. But I haven't done anything in years, and all my old pieces at this point have like fallen apart, broken, been lost, or gifted. Um, but I'll have to do more again. So, yep.
You need a lot of
Okay. So we're
equipment for
oh,
that.
okay.
Like, do you need a big space, or is it fairly?
Not as I guess it depends on the size of what you're putting together, because obviously you need a large flat piece. The pieces I used to do would be like little, like 10 by 10. To do stained glass, you buy the stained glass sheets pre-made, these big beautiful sheets of, and those are just pretty. And then you have a rotary cutter, like a little hand cutter, basically. I'm sure if I wanted to now, I could buy a fancy saw or whatever, but everything I did would be hand cutting. Or you make a pattern, you lay your pattern on the glass, then you hand cut it, and there's a very specific way you snap the glass along your cut line. And it's a process that you have to like look, listen, and feel for as you're cutting the glass with the tool, to know that you're going to get a nice smooth cut. And then you place your pieces together with the oh, what's it called, the caming on the outside of the pieces. I'm not remembering the term right. And then you get the lead solder, and the lead solder, is 1,000 degrees, right? And you're have to heat the metal on to essentially glue it together. Um, and then you need a grinder to grind the edges. So I mean, I guess you could do it on like a table space that maybe 4 feet by 8 feet. Like just a standard work
Mhm.
table would be fine. Um, but it's, like any craft project, there's a lot of pieces and components, and yeah,
Yeah.
time investment. Okay, it is almost 6 o'clock, and I did promise my family that I would reemerge at 6. So I will say if there's any final questions that I can answer, and if not, I am on Vicky's awesome Discord server with that wonderful community. And if you do tag me at RoseCatCon, I will pop on and I will answer your questions. And if I miss your questions, you could be like, "Hey, Rose," and then repeat the question. Like if I miss it, like it's fine. And I try to check on the server at least once a day, but sometimes life happens and I miss it. But I am there as well as all my own. I just dropped my iPad. No. Okay,
Is it all
so
right?
last questions. Last call for questions.
I can't believe I haven't finished it yet. I'm
Oh.
speeding up now.
Okay. No questions. I guess I've answered. I mean, I've talked so much. Okay, Vicky, do you have any questions, thoughts? I mean, I could come. I
I'll,
could come on again whenever you want me.
I can. I probably think of something after you've gone. That's sort of what normally happens. But honestly, you've
Yeah.
answered a lot of my questions before I've asked them.
Yeah.
Like you've said something, and I've thought, oh yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
So I can't think of anything at the
Oh,
moment, Rose. But this has been brilliant. I've really enjoyed this,
yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
still loving it. I will get this finished. I will. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I. You could do it. You could do it. Okay.
But I can't
Cool.
think of anything just at the moment. But if I do think of anything, I will, of course,
Okay. Oh, I
get in
think I got a
touch.
question. Okay. Let me answer these last. And if there's any last questions, Richard wants to know, totally unrelated to puzzling, but I'm thinking of heading to Florida in December. Any recommendations? Ooh, recommendations for what? So I live in Orlando, Florida. I live 20 minutes from Disney World and Universal. I am like in the center of the touristy part of Florida, but the nice suburban part, north of the touristy part. Um, any recommendations? I mean, dude, I like Orlando. Orlando is nice, and there's so much to do here, and so many restaurants, and so much stuff outside of just Disney and Universal as well. So I don't know, Richard, if that quite answers your question, but if you want, over at the Discord server, if you're there, you could ask me that question in more details, and I am happy to recommend. Like Florida is lovely, and after living in New York, I love New York, but I also love Florida. Nice. Okay, I think I'm good on questions here. So, okay, I'm saying good night. I am leaving, and then Vicky, you could, I don't know if you're logging out now or wrapping up, but I do need to go.
Kidokies.
So thank you all, and I will be chatting with you on Discord. And as always, please tag me if you're doing Six Portals, if you're doing any of my puzzles, if you're reading Centurnia. I really, 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 really do appreciate the comments and tags, especially on Centurnia. And you've all been lovely, and I've appreciated your questions. And Vicky, once again, thank you so much for having me. This has been like really great. So,
Oh, it's
all
been
right,
brilliant. Thank you for joining. And yeah, I
cool.
mean, I've got the other half of this to do, so I'm sure there'll be questions about that, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, be great to have you back at some point when I'm doing that as well. So thank you so much. That's been really good.
All right, I'm gonna log off here. All right,
Okie
bye.
dokes. Have fun. See you later. Oh, she didn't get to see me finish it. What a shame. Oh, I did not go fast enough. I can take my headphones out now, though. Right. Oh, it's so weird live streaming with my headphones in. I'm gonna put them away. And they actually lasted. I bought new headphones just for this because they always run out of battery. Okay. I am going to finish this puzzle. I am currently at the 2 hour mark, and I normally go just a little longer than 2 hours. So I think I can get this finished. Um, but yeah, I'll just keep puzzling away and periodically look up at the chat. I don't. It's really weird not looking at the chat because I wasn't really looking at it while Rose was here. Okay, Rosie, you're going to US Nationals. Oh, she never answered that. I'm not sure if she is or not, but we can ask her, can't we? You're in the Discord, aren't you, Bergdis? So can always ask her in there. I've got this. Thank you. I hope so. I don't know how you were able to puzzle while Rose was talking. It was so interesting. I know. Well, I'm listening. I'm just listening away. And sometimes, um, if she says something that's like made me think of something I was going to ask, or reminded me of something I was going to ask, then I'll stop and do some chatting. But I know it really is a lesson in multitasking. This live streaming whilst puzzling, whilst also having a guest on. It's not easy, but it's fun. It's fun. And I love it. And thank you all for being so welcoming and asking us so many great questions. And you'll think of things to ask that I don't think of. So it's nice. It's nice hearing our answers to other people's questions. Right, there we go. Found you. I am beginning to get worried that this is lost, but that's not lost. It's on the floor. Right, there's a piece down here. This is the bottom row here. You just see it there. And I have actually knocked those pieces off more than once this evening before I came live. And I kept seeing it and thinking, I don't know if I've knocked that off or if that's missing. I'd knocked it off. It was on the floor. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I don't want any more missing piece shenanigans. No, thank you. I really am I'm kind of all over the place with this. I'm just like physically I'm just dotting around because I'm just using the shapes really to inform which piece goes in next and finding the piece that goes, if you see what I mean. So it's coming together, slow but sure. Slow but sure. Now then, what about you? That's a funny coloured sky in the background. And so is that. Where could you be? Not many pieces left here. Not too many to go at all. I perhaps was just a little bit over enthusiastic when I was chatting to Rose before we went live. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm hoping I don't go too quick, and that clearly was not an issue. Right. Looks like a bit of floor or something, but I don't know. Okay. Um, no. It's just involving a lot of staring at these remaining pieces, I guess. Um, you've got to be. Why aren't I seeing you? Ah, because you weren't that obvious. That's why. Gosh, I'm going to be having the missing piece fear throughout this, I think, now. But there's so much like these leaves. It's orange, red, yellow leaves, and then there's the branches running through it. So what piece you're looking for doesn't necessarily look like you think it looks. It'll have something else running through the middle of it, and so I won't necessarily see it, and then I'll think, I hope it's not missing. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And that one is there. It's got to be around here somewhere. It's got like red. Ah, there we go. There we go. And what about this? I'm seriously considering taking Rose up on her offer, learning to draw. Be so cool. Or maybe I could design my own puzzle. I can actually do it. What do you think? Oh man, I would love to do that. Mm. Ah, going in a bit quicker, I think. That's a tiny little square. Tiny little square. Where are you? Okay, what about that one? And there's something that links up this to this. What is it that links them up? It is that one. Aha! Okay, that actually attached there. I didn't realise that. This has got to fit somewhere. Big bit of. There it is. It's down there. I had that in the wrong spot. It was belonging down here. And that piece. Where are you? I knew this tree was gonna prove tough for me. I think that's why I ended up doing the red portal last. It actually wasn't my intention initially to do the red portal last, but it just was a no-brainer when I started sorting. I sort of knew. I was like, yeah, I think that tree's gonna give me some issues. And it's fine, it's been fine, but there's a reason I left it till last, and I think it's because it's probably the bit I found the most difficult. Um, no. Ooh. Well, there's no doubt now. I will be finishing it this evening. It's 10 to 20 at the half. Are we talking football scores here? Which game? I'm sure there's more than one game on, is there? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she had a new puzzle coming out for the Nationals either. I'd love to bring my Six Portals puzzle to lid to Atlanta to have her sign it. Yeah, it's a good idea. You should, yeah, definitely. I would say so. If are you going then? Clark, have you decided to go? Okay. Back from ice cream before the end of the puzzle. Back from ice cream. Did you go and get some ice cream? Maybe, definitely will not be going to compete, but might be fun to hang out. And Donna Louise will be there. Yeah, she is. I can do it. Puzzle doesn't stand a chance against me. Thank you. I will defeat it. Go for it. I don't think Donna Louise is competing. I think it was sold out, but she's going as a guest. I would love if Rose had some drawing lesson videos on her channel. Should video your lessons. Yeah, why not? Vicky, when I heard you say you'll be doing the Star Wars puzzle next, I clapped so hard that I scared my dog. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Bee's dog. Oh, I'm glad you're excited about it. You clapped. Oh, that's so nice. I got really excited too. When I revealed it, I was just like, I couldn't contain it. It just came out in a wee squeak. I'm looking forward to the Star Wars puzzle also. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I've still got to finish sorting downtown. I've actually spent most of today editing my wildlife full time lapse, and I hope to get that out tomorrow. That's my goal. That's why I've been working on it all day. And I actually wanted to get some sorting done on downtown today, but it never happened. So I was editing. But it's fine, it's fine. It'll get done. It'll get done. I'm looking forward to Star Wars 2. I'll need to find a 2000 or smaller for my puzzle along. Oh, you're gonna puzzle along with the Star Wars. Well, the one with the big I forget what it's called. Star Wars Universe or something it's called, I think. I can't remember. But it's got a big four-legged walker thing, and then all the characters are standing at the front. I did it last year in May. The 2000 piece Ravensburger. That's a good one to do. I think you can still get hold of it. Buffalo Bills 10, Denver Broncos 20, NFL playoff game. Who's winning? What's the score with the Seahawks? The Seahawks, I don't know if they've started playing, but Matt was on his way to the game. I love to go just to watch. Yeah, me too, can't wait. It's not fair. We got rainbow ice cream and I can't have any. Oh, it has coconut in it. Oh no, you're allergic to coconut. Oh, that's rubbish. Sorry about that. I read through the page source of the 18K Star Wars for if Ravensburger accidentally left in a release date, but it was nothing. Good thinking. Still unconfirmed, I guess. Can we get Jim to do a voiceover on the You like Jim's voiceovering? Just gonna have music playing. I did consider doing a bit of voiceover, but I don't think I've got much more to say that I haven't either already said or that's not coming up in uh, a Q&A video. So I thought I would just let you enjoy the puzzle coming together. Hmm. Right, yeah, let's go for that one. And that one. And then that one. There we go. Maybe, well, Jim's American, right? He'll be at UK now, US nationals, presumably. I don't know why I said UK. I meant US. Um, Where are you? I don't know where you are. What about you? Found you. It's there. Huh. Right. This is the fun bit. Well, the whole thing's fun, but the last few pieces, just love it. Love it. Okay, okay, okay. It's coming. It's coming, folks. I'm looking forward to showing you the whole section A. It's going to be lovely, and I've got nothing on my table at the moment, so it's clear. Hmm. Where's that? Ah, I was going to try that one a few times, and for some reason I didn't. It turned out to be the right one. Okay. Oh, right. I wonder what those pieces were. They're like fairy wings. That's like a fairy or something. A little bit of green in that. There. It's a big wide piece. Hmm. We'll have to move around again. What about this one? Here we go. No. You go there. And then we've got that big in there. And then I hope I don't have any missing pieces. Gosh, and that fear again. one. Right, so now that one. That one. Ready? That one. Nosy pieces. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, are we ready? Hello, Gryffindor. Have you just joined? Hope you're having fun. My puzzle is very challenging. I'm loving this. Who else is loving watching this portal come together? Me. Oh, by the way, this section of Mickey has been going very well. Not going to be another 2-day section, but probably finished in the coming week. Good, that's good. Better late than never. This is true. One of the Ravensburger sites ships to Iceland, so I can't give them any money. Ah. How you doing, Gryffindor? Yay, you can do it! And I'm holding on to this last piece. I'm trying to get the tension mounted. Any in particular you're looking at? Paris, New York bombardment. Me, Philip. Paris and New York. It's so cool. A bird built a nest just outside my mum's window. The nest looks so cool, and the birds are really small. Aww. It does sound cool. Vicky, no piece is missing. Until there is a piece, there's no piece left to try. This is true. And I don't have a piece missing. I've got the last one in my hand. Ah. And it's in! Ha ha! Done! Oh, look at that! That's so gorgeous. This was the hardest portal, I think, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. But still loved it. Still a nice level of challenge. And just I was glad that I shape sorted towards the end and just used the shapes. It was good. Oh, thank you, Clark. Woo, done at last. Yes. Finally put the piece in. Oh, good. Oh, well, I'm glad. I'm glad you've enjoyed this, and I'm really pleased that you enjoyed chatting to Rose and asking her all those questions. She's been so lovely, just joining all these live streams and everything. She's really has been lovely, and it's been such a joy doing this and being able to chat with the artist as well. It's been I never expected it, and but it's been so great. So Rose, if you watch later on, or if you're watching now, thank you again so much. It's been brilliant. Thank you, B. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Is it exactly 7,000 pieces or a bit over slash under? I think. Oh, are they exact, Gusta? Oh, I didn't know that. Most of their large piece counts are slightly over, but the 9,000 pieces are like 9,120 or something like that. Um, Hi, Lindsay. Thank you so much. I didn't realise the 7Ks were exact. I assumed they would be bigger. But yeah, thank you for answering that, Gustum. I think Rose really enjoys this. Yeah, she does. I hope she does. I know she's obviously busy doing what she does, but she's also a mom. So, it's nice that she can take some time to do it, and I really do. I hope she does enjoy it. Congrats. Are you going straight onto section 2 or something else? So, okay, so the plan is to just go straight into section 2. Now, actually, you've just reminded me of something, Sandra. The next Saturday, I won't be able to stream because I'll be flying back from London. It's a later flight. It's also my daughter's birthday. So, what I thought I'd do next week, rather than miss another stream, because I'm already having to miss the Thursday one, I thought I would maybe do a Sunday stream instead. Um, I'm gonna be on my way back from London, so I'm not gonna be able to do it Saturday. And it didn't occur to me until very recently because well, I've only recently booked the flights. I wasn't sure what time they were going to be, but I'd probably been a bit tired anyway, even if it was an early morning flight and I'd have been back in time. So I'm thinking a Sunday stream next week, and I'll make a start on section B, which is this one. We have the blue sea portal, we've got the winter portal, and we've got the night portal on the right hand side. They're the three colours. Oops, colours actually. All very similar. I mean, even the white kind of has a purple hue to it. And obviously this is purple. Um, and then you've got the blue. I love this portal. I like them all. I don't know if I could pick a favourite, but I really like the colours in this one. I love that you've got blues, greens, there's like a tropical vibe, you've got sort of parrots and oh, I like this one. I think I'm going to enjoy doing this one. And this one looks tough. But again, it might surprise me. I thought the green one looked tough, but that came together a lot more smoothly than I expected. So who knows? Who knows? It's gonna be fun finding out, isn't it? But I will be going straight into this and all being well doing a Sunday stream instead of a Saturday stream because I'd like otherwise I'll only be streaming once next week. And I'd rather not miss two if I can avoid it. So I'll do that if you're up for it. And then once Six Portals is finished, I will go back to section B of the Disney Museum because I need to get that finished off. Um, but I want to finish this first. We'll pile through the blue in no time at all. I hope so. I mean, I don't think this one will take me long, to be honest. I don't. But I don't know. I'm not sure about these two. We'll see. We'll see. But can't wait to do it. The whole puzzle's just gorgeous. I can't wait to do it. Is that a chipmunk in the tree? Which tree? This tree? I see birds. And there's a tree here. I don't. Oh, that? Is that a chipmunk? I don't know. I've no idea. We needed to ask Rose. The blue one is my favourite. The white one was the hardest in my experience, but still very fun. I'm saving the two centre portals for last. They look like the most fun, but I agree, the water one is my favourite. Yeah, it's just beautiful. There's something about the colours and everything, and the fact that it looks tropical and it looks like a fun place to be. I think I would dive straight into that portal if somebody said to me, right, you can enter any of these, which one you're going for? I think it'd be this one. Although if I could just jump into that one and grab one of these cats and then take it with me into that one, that could be fun too. Oh, in the red. Oh, I see. Oh my goodness. These pieces at the bottom keep falling off. Um, there's a phoenix. There are several what look like crows. There's a fairy, or is it the bot here? This one. I've been calling it a squirrel. Maybe it is a chipmunk. I don't know. I've been calling it squirrel, but who knows? Maybe. All right. So before you go, I now would like to put this whole puzzle, this whole section together. So if you're up for it, I will end the stream, this one, and I will clear the table as I have done with previous puzzles that are finished, large piece counts. I'll clear the decks and I'll lay out the full section that I've done and completed, and then I will come back onto the live and do a shorter live on my phone and show you the whole thing together. I can't show it together here like this. I don't obviously have the camera space, but if you're happy to hang around and look out for me going live again, I'll show you the whole thing together, and then we will call it a night at that. Does that sound like a plan? Someone in the Discord said Rose should make an image like the blue portal, but as a full puzzle image on its own. Yeah, any one of these could be full puzzle images on their own, couldn't they? It's just so well thought out. I really do. I really do like this puzzle a lot. It's lovely. It's lovely. And I think a Portals 18K would look good too. I mean, I'm not a puzzle designer really. Rose is the expert on these things, but somebody just needs to sort of show me and say, "Do you think this looks good?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." Do like a continuous image on a puzzle as well, though. But I know that that is tough with large piece counts. So I don't know. I just like her art. I think whatever she comes up with is going to look great. Hope I have an amazing time in England. Oh, thank you, Gryffindor. Oh, I'm sure I will, and I'm sure the kids will too. Gonna have a day in London with them after the toy fair. I actually found the sky on the last two okay. They stand out from the other skies because one is dark and the snow one has little snowflakes. Yeah, I remember Rose mentioning that actually, that there isn't much of that sky that doesn't have some kind of snowflake or something in it. You've got the three dragons, obviously four, there's one there. And you've got the sun. But there's also clouds and some snowflakes, so yeah, hopefully that'll be fine. All good. Yes, I'll be there. Can't wait to see it together. The Portal's 40K would also be very good, but that's a bit much. I'm not sure if she'd agree to that or not. Uh, what about 32K? I don't think she quite knew what she was in for when she joined our little group. Like, yeah, we're all obsessed with large piece counts. Just go with it. Go with it. Are you doing the Monday live? Yes, I'll be doing the Monday live. I don't leave for London until Wednesday, so I'll be around as normal on Monday, Tuesday, and then I head off on Wednesday. So yes, I will be live streaming wildlife as normal. All right, okay, I'll leave it there, and I will come back to you. I'll be as quick as I can. I've got to clear everything off the table, and I'll be as quick as I can. And yeah, I will see you shortly. But I will be going live on my phone. It is not scheduled, so I'll just appear. So I'll come on and I'll wait for people to rejoin and things. But keep an eye out. And dragon entering a portal would be great. Yeah, I think there would have to be a dragony theme, I think, for me. I need dragons in my life and in my puzzles. All right, so I will see you all shortly. And for those of you who can't come back to the next live, maybe you're going to bed or something, I don't know. Thank you for joining me this evening and thank you for watching. And I'll see you again. But if you can join me, please do. I'm going to show you this whole section together, 3 portals. So I will see you very, very soon. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you shortly. Keep an eye out.